22-year-old Adam Simjee was a Florida native and finance student at the University of Central Florida, along with his girlfriend, 20-year-old Mikayla Pauluson, who was also there studying for her master's in clinical mental health counseling. On August 14, 2022, the couple was driving through the Talladega National Forest in Clay County, northern Alabama, looking for hiking trails and waterfalls in Chaha State Park. While driving through the park, the couple was flagged down by 21-year-old Yasmin Marie Hyder, telling them she was having trouble with her car, a blue XB Scion, and needed a jump start. But unbeknownst to the couple, the Scion had actually broken down weeks earlier and had belonged to a 37-year-old Crystal Diane Pinkins, a native of Memphis, Tennessee. At the time, Yasmin and Crystal had been living in a camp in the woods along with Crystal's 5-year-old son. Adam and Mikayla spent over an hour trying to repair the car, including looking up YouTube videos and even Mikayla calling her father, who was a mechanic, for advice on what to do. After all of this, Yasmin pulled out a gun and ordered them to, quote unquote, empty their pockets and walk further into the woods. However, Adam had his own licensed handgun, and when Yasmin appeared distracted, Adam pulled his weapon and shot Yasmin a total of 4 times, 3 times in the chest and once in the leg. Yasmin then returned fire, shooting Adam once and fatally wounding him. After Mikayla stood there witnessing this all unfold, she noticed a woman who was later identified as Crystal standing nearby, as did Yasmin, and she called out to Crystal, asking her for help and what she wanted her to do next. Then, without saying a word, she turned away and ran into the forest. After this, Mikayla immediately called 911 and was instructed on how to perform CPR while using her shirt as a tourniquet. Despite this, Adam passed away almost immediately after the shooting. When responding officers arrived on the scene, they immediately arrested an injured Yasmin, who had been sitting against a fallen pine tree, unable to flee due to a smashed femur from one of the gunshot wounds. A flight paramedic was called to airlift her to a Birmingham hospital to undergo surgery for her injuries. When officers arrived to help Mikayla and Adam, she pointed at Yasmin, telling the responding officers, quote, "She shot him," end quote, causing Yasmin to respond, stating that she and her family had been living in the woods and that she was only asking for a ride to get food. She then asked officers, quote, "I'm going to do time, right? I just want to know how much time." 6 hours later, officers located Crystal at their campsite before they were approached by her 5-year-old son, who emerged from the woods holding a loaded shotgun. However, they were able to disarm him and he was given to Child Protective Services, and Crystal was taken into custody. 5 days later, on August 19, 2022, detectives came to the UAB hospital to interview Yasmin. She was advised of her Miranda rights and waived them, and then gave a statement, telling officers that she was waiting on the side of the road trying to get someone to stop for her so they could take the car and go get food. Yasmin also stated that Crystal was there when the shooting occurred. She then asked agents, quote, "Did he die? I didn't want to hurt anybody. I took his whole life away. Now he can't tell his story," end quote. At the time of the killing, the two had been linked to a cult called the University of Cosmic Intelligence. The cult was led by Rashad Jamal White, who goes by God to his followers. Rashad is currently awaiting trial on child molestation and abuse charges in Florida. Crystal allegedly wrote a letter to the judge handling Jamal's case, pleading his innocence. On Wednesday, October 4th, 2023, Yasmin Marie Hyder pled guilty to murder, kidnapping, and robbery and has since then been remanded to the custody of U.S. Marshals until her sentencing. on January 4th, 2024. She currently is facing 35 years in prison. On September 29th, 2023, Crystal Diane Pickens was found guilty of robbery, unlawful use of a firearm during a crime of violence, and murder. For the more serious charges, Crystal faces a whole maximum sentence of life in prison and a maximum of 15 years for the robbery charge. Crystal is also scheduled to be sentenced on January 4th, 2024, shortly after Yasmin.